if I'm divorced more than once, as long as I don't remarry, can I receive communion? That's a good question. I've answered it many times. The problem, you're right, the intuition here is the real problem is divorce and remarriage, okay? The church doesn't like divorce, obviously. It's not a good thing if there are children involved. It's a disaster invariably. But it happens. People get in situations and they get civil divorces for estate purposes or whatever. Okay, let's say you're in that situation. It's unfortunate. You're divorced. Can you receive the sacrament? Well, you go to confession. You confess any serious sin. And then, yes, you can receive the Holy Eucharist or any sacrament, absolutely. The sin is in divorce and remarriage, because that really is dealing with adultery then. You know, that's where you cannot receive the sacraments. You're divorced and then you remarry, okay? Say you were married in the church, you get divorced, there's no annulment or anything, you get married again. No, you can't do that. Can you receive the sacraments? No. Is there any hope for receiving the sacraments? Yes. Straighten it out. Straighten it out. You know, you'll first have to make a deal with your spouse, right? Hey, I want to be right with God. That's the most important thing. Let's get straightened out with God and the church. So you make an agreement to live as brother and sister, no sexual relations. Okay, while you have the church perhaps investigate the possibility of annulment and so forth. But the problem is divorce and remarriage and sexual relations. That's the problem, okay? If you're divorced, remarried, and having sexual relations with the person you're present with, no, you can't receive the sacrament. Well, what if I go and confess my sin? That's fine if you have a firm purpose of amendment in the confession. You can't just go confess your sins and not have a firm purpose of amendment. That's an invalid confession. And there is no absolution in an invalid confession like that. Why? You don't have contrition. An essential part of contrition is a firm purpose of amendment. Now, that's not a guarantee that a sin will not take place, but that's a definite commitment in your heart. You're resolved not to do this to the best of your ability. You're not going to do that anymore, okay?